I found that the more that I spent time with the Lord in His Word, I was able to overcome the distractions of people, places, things. Hi guys, it's Yolanda. Welcome back to the channel if you're returning, and welcome if you are new here. Overcoming distractions to focus and turning our focus on God. I feel like this has been a season of many different distractions with the world, with everything that's going on in the church, everything that's going on maybe in your family, in your personal lives, just full of distractions. So as I sat with the Lord on this about trying to overcome the things that were distracting me, He gave me a few things and I want to share them with you all. A distraction takes your attention away from something that you're trying to focus on. And in this aspect, our focus is God. I was trying to focus on God, but everything around me, it seemed like I was just being distracted, and it was happening so easily. Fleshly distractions, worldly distractions. And these things were from people, places, things. Social media was a big part of these distractions. And so I started to take inventory of my life. As I took inventory, I found myself asking God, like, how can I overcome these distractions? These distractions, you cannot overcome distractions for good. There are always going to be distractions in the world, in your life. If I bump my toe, I'm going to be distracted, right? It's not so much so of getting rid of the distraction, but it's how to overcome the distraction, to move on, to focus on God, to the next thing that God has for me to be doing in this hour. And so when I took this to God, He helped me to overcome being distracted so easily by my flesh, by the world. What can I do, Lord? I found that I was distracted because I was spending so much time on worldly things and not the word of God. What was causing me to do this was I wasn't happy with where I was in life. God had called me out of the corporate world and led me into a wilderness. And I talked about that in a previous video, and I'll share a testimony later on that. But when He led me in this wilderness, I was confused, I was frustrated, I was angry. And so I wasn't happy with my life. Like, Lord, I was just there. Now I'm here, you know? And so that caused me to turn my attention away from God, my focus away from God. I started to focus more on other people, other things, other places, because it took me out of the reality, out of the unhappiness that I was experiencing in my life, the unpleasant, the uncomfortableness, the stretching, the pruning, the plucking that God was doing was uncomfortable. So I started to shift my focus on other things. You have to be careful when we say, I'll just live vicariously through you. That is very dangerous, because that can cause you to have so many distractions. That can cause you to go down a spiral that God was never meant for you, that it was never meant for you to do. So be careful with that. So Lord, help me to get out of this, get out of my head, so to speak. Because a lot of times these distractions are coming because I'm in my head about how I feel, what I think my life should be at this time. And we know God operates outside of time. So what we feel is urgent or pressing, I found that the more that I spent time with the Lord in His Word, I was able to overcome the distractions of people, places, things. And I made up my mind that I am no longer going to seek out things, but I'm going to seek ye the kingdom first. And all of the things will be added unto me. And once I started doing that, it allowed me to get to a point where I started to speak over myself. I started to bind and loose things, binding fear and loosening faith, binding confusion and loosening clarity, binding any pain and asking God for peace beyond my understanding. And He has given me those things. What I want you to know about God is that if you seek Him diligently, if you're dedicated, if you're committed to the commitment of God and going forth in the things that He has called you to do, drawing your attention to Him instead of the things, all of the things that God knows what we want. He knows what we need, more importantly, but He also knows the things that we desire. So if we focus on him, we turn our attention to him, spend time, read his word, really sit with the Lord, he will show us the mysteries of our lives that nobody else can do. Only God can do that. Be diligent, be dedicated, and take some time with the Lord. That I pray that God gives you strength, that God gives you the ability to endure whatever it is that you're going through right now, so that you can overcome these distractions, because the enemy prowls to see who he may devour. He never sleeps, but God doesn't either. He sees, knows, hears everything.